A long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Specifically, 1983. That's, of course, when Star Wars Episode 6 Return of the Jedi was released.
So today we start off our story with C-3PO and R2-D2 going to Jabba's palace with a message from Luke Skywalker.
Luke Skywalker's message is essentially to let Han Solo go, or else. But as a show of good faith, he gifts the droids to Jabba.
What? He gives the two droids to Jabba? That is completely unexpected.
As expected, Jabba doesn't let Han go.
Now, next, kind of have a little bit of a weird scenario here. So Chewie comes in, but he doesn't just come in by himself. He comes in as a captive with this bounty hunter. This bounty hunter brings Chewie to Jabba for a reward. Jabba's like, I'm not going to pay you for this, yada, yada, yada. So the bounty hunter's like, well, you'll pay me because otherwise I'll blow up the whole entire place with this thermal detonator. So Jabba's like, hey, I like you. So you know what? We'll come to an agreement here.
So, okay, what exactly is Luke's plan here? Because Chewie's been captured, Han's been captured, and he turned the two droids over to Jabba. So what exactly is Luke planning here?
Oh, it's very, very convoluted. Your small little mind wouldn't understand. See, what happens is that bounty hunter I was talking about, turns out it was actually Leia,
Wait,
Princess
what?
Leia. That night when everyone's sound asleep, where you could bang a drum, no one would wake up. He walks down and she sees where they have Han laying in carbonite, hanging up on the wall as a trophy, and she brings him out of the carbonite. Then she reveals herself as Leia, gives him a big kiss. Then all of a sudden, and that was pretty good.
I wonder what that could be.
No idea. But then some curtains pull back, and it's Jabba the Hutt. He wasn't sleeping at all. It was fake snoring.
It's a trap!
Exactly, just like you did when you were a little kid. He was just...
Okay, so we got Leia, we got Han, we got Chewie, and we got the two droids. So wait, that means Luke's the only one left. So how is he gonna get them all out of this?
Well, he comes to the Jabba's palace, and he comes in, and instead of talking, he decides to choke the two guards out, not in a fun way. He makes his way to Jabba, and he says, Jabba, don't underestimate my power. And things kind of escalate a little bit. Luke forces over a gun. Not really sure why he forces a gun over. He should have his lightsaber, right? And then Jabba opens his little thing, and he falls into this pit. You know what's in the pit, David? A Rancor. You know what a Rancor is?
It's a big scary monster that wants to eat you.
And oh boy, does it want to eat Luke Skywalker. It does end up eating one of the Morian guards that does fall down in the pit as well. But Luke is a little bit more cunning than some stupid pig. He goes and he hides up under this little tiny rock. And then he sees a bone, and he grabs the bone when the Rancor pulls him up, and he sticks it in his mouth. And now it can't close its jaws. But then finally it snaps the bone, but Luke is able to get free by that point. And he runs over to this door, and he picks up a rock, and he hits the button for the door, and it falls on the Rancor, and it's dead. No more bad Rancor.
Oh, good. So that means Luke's escaped now.
No. Guards come in, and they handcuff him. Rancor didn't eat him, but Jabba has another plan.
Okay. So wait a minute. Let me get this straight. So now, not only is Han, Chewie, Leia, and the droids captured, but so is Luke.
This is all going exactly according to Luke's plan. So Jabba takes him out into the Dune Sea, where there's this monster called the Sarlacc Pit. Basically, it's this pit where you get eaten alive and digested for 1,000 years.
Wow, that's a long time.
So Luke is the first one to go in. Luke is about to walk the plank to go into the Sarlacc Pit. Before he does, R2-D2 opens up a little chute in the top of his head, and he pulls up the lightsaber. That's where it was the whole time. And then, after that, he shoots it to Luke, and Luke grabs it. He does a little flippy flip, and he starts whacking out all of the guards. And this big battle starts taking place. Boba Fett's there, too. Yeah, he's the one who turned in a bounty on Han Solo, and he was hanging out at Jabba's palace. So, yeah, you remember that really, really cool... Yeah, the cool guy from Episode 5, yeah. Him? Yep. So, that's what happens to him.
I don't know, it's probably like this long drawn-out fight with like Luke or Han or something.
The blind Han Solo accidentally hits his backpack with his pole, causes him to fall into the Sarlacc Pit.
That doesn't seem right.
He's dead. No more Boba Fett. So anyway, Battle takes place, a lot of fighting, a lot of action. They blow up Jabba's boat. Leia had already killed him. Then they escape. They get out of there.
Now that they've saved Han from Jabba's palace, they split up. Han, Leia, Lando, Chewie, and the droids go and meet up with the rest of the Rebel fleet, while Luke and R2-D2 return to Dagobah.
What are they going to Dagobah for?
Because Luke wants to finish his training with Yoda. Yoda tells him his training's already done, except he's got one more thing. He has to face his father, who we learned in the last movie was Darth Vader. And then Yoda curls up into a ball and dies.
Unceremonious. At least before he died, he confirmed that Vader was telling the truth about Luke being his son, that it wasn't just a lie Vader told him.
And then Obi-Wan shows up as a Force ghost and confirms it again. But he also tells Luke that he didn't lie to him and back in A New Hope. He told him that what he said was true from a certain point of view.
A certain point of view?
Also, before Yoda died, he also revealed something else. Luke's got a sister. A twin sister. And it's none other than Leia.
They kissed in the last one.
Ignore that. They're brother and sister now.
Somehow, I've always known.
Anyway, so now we jump back to the Rebel fleet, where Luke has come back to join up with the fleet. The Empire is still really strong, and they've in fact built another Death Star.
Well, tell me a little bit about this Death Star. I would assume it's probably a lot smaller because, they've had a lot less time to...
It's a lot bigger. A lot bigger.
Then I would assume it's also probably really far out from being done because, we saw before how long the first Death Star took to make. So this one's probably just getting started.
Well, that's true. It is still under construction. They're building it over the forest moon of Endor, and they've got a shield generator on the moon itself that's protecting the Death Star while they're building it. General Han Solo has to put together a task force to go down onto the surface of the forest moon of Endor to disable the shield so that they can blow up the second Death Star. And the Rebel intelligence has also gotten word that none other than the Emperor himself is overseeing the construction of this Death Star. Han puts together his task force, which includes Chewbacca, Leia, Luke, and the droids, amongst a few other rebels. The Rebel Alliance has captured this Imperial shuttle with some codes that should get them through the shield. So they're relying on that to get them onto the forest moon itself. The Imperials let them through, knowing full well that it's a rebel task force. They get down just fine and are able to sneak off into the woods to make their plan to disable the shields.
Well, what is their plan to disable the shield?
The shield generator is inside this bunker. It's underground. Their plan is to approach it head on, essentially shoot their way in and disable it that way.
I thought you said they brought a small task force, not an army.
Before they can accomplish this, they get kind of sidetracked with some scout troopers. They end up chasing down scout troopers before they can set off the alarm, and in the midst of that, Leia gets separated from the rest of the group. So Han, Luke, Chewie, and the droids go looking for Leia.
Ooh, this is my favorite part. This is where we meet the Ewoks, the little tiny fluffy teddy bears.
Leia ends up meeting an Ewok named Wicket and becoming friends with him, and the rest of the gang ends up getting trapped in a net that was laid down by the Ewoks, and C-3PO becomes their god, and they want to eat Han, Chewie, and Luke. You up to speed?
With C-3PO basically being their god, he should have no problem telling them not to eat his friends. That should be pretty easy for him to do.
You see, pretending to be a deity goes against his programming, so he's unable to do that.
Isn't he going along with it already, so he's pretending to be a deity?
Because C-3PO is a protocol droid and is fluent in over 6 million different languages, he's able to communicate with the Ewoks. And Luke tells C-3PO to tell the Ewoks not to eat them, or else he's going to use his magic powers.
Magic powers. C-3PO doesn't have any magic powers.
And that's exactly when C-3PO's chair starts levitating above the ground.
It's Darth Vader.
No, it's actually Luke. The Ewoks think that C-3PO has magic powers, so they let the rest of them go, and they end up joining the tribe.
I guess that gives them a couple extra hands, small hands, but a couple extra hands for infiltrating the base. It's not like it's anything wrong with bringing in native species into a war that they had no business being a part of or even wanted to be a part of.
That's probably a good thing that they got extra help because Luke has to leave.
What's he doing?
Well, he knows him being involved is endangering the mission because Vader knows that he's there. So he goes and turns himself into the Empire to confront Vader.
If they already know he's there, wouldn't he be more help to them there than turning himself in?
Okay, I think we've already established in this movie that Luke is not the best at planning. Anyway, the Ewoks tell Han and Leia that there's a back door to that shield generator bunker, so they don't have to charge in through an Imperial base. So they enter through the back door, or they attempt to enter through the back door, but it's guarded.
How heavily guarded is it?
There are 4 scout troopers.
Let's see, you have Leia, you have Han, you have Chewie, you have a bunch of Ewoks, and you have a scout team.
Oh,
I feel like you should be able to take out 4 scout troopers.
An Ewok just stole one of their speeder bikes, and so 3 of the scout troopers are chasing after the Ewok now.
How did they reach the pedals?
Don't know. There's one left, so they take him out and enter the shield generator.
I feel it's poor planning on the scout troopers, and, they probably should have left 2 and 2.
Yeah, probably. But it turns out it was all a trap. A bunch of stormtroopers show up, arrest all the rebels, and take them outside where there's even more stormtroopers. But it's about this time when the rebel fleet shows up.
That's good, but they don't have the shield generator down, so they can't take out the Death Star yet. They can't even hurt it.
They end up starting a massive space battle with all the Imperial ships because there's also an Imperial fleet there. Also, there's another thing. The Death Star might still be under construction, but the super weapon is also operational.
So that's not good.
You've got the Rebel fleet pinned in by an Imperial fleet. You've got a massive super weapon taking out Rebel ships, and the shields are still up. And the strike force they sent to the planet's surface to take out the shield is captured.
Well, it's a strange move to make, but, the Rebels did lose in the last movie, so, guess they can go 0 for 2?
Just when it seems like the Rebels have fallen into the Imperial trap and, they're about to lose, the Ewoks start taking out stormtroopers on the planet's surface, allowing Han, Leia, and Chewie to escape. One thing leads to another, and the strike force is able to disable the shield generator.
Ooh.
The shield generator is down, so the Rebels can attack the Death Star now, but Luke is still on the Death Star.
Sacrifices have to be made.
Vader takes Luke before Emperor Palpatine. The Emperor wants him to become his new apprentice. So, he tells Luke to kill him so that he can turn to the dark side.
So he wants him to kill him, but he wants him to be his apprentice.
Yes.
How is he going to apprentice him if he's dead?
Luke finally gives in and swings his lightsaber at Palpatine, only to be blocked by Vader. Luke and his father begin fighting. Luke actually wins and ends up cutting off Vader's lightsaber hand.
The turns have tabled.
And from the background, you can hear Palpatine. He tells Luke to finish him off. And then his journey towards the dark side will be complete.
So he kills Vader and betrays all the rebels?
No. He extinguishes his lightsaber and says he's not going to kill his father.
Oh, I don't think the Emperor's too happy about that. What does he do?
Well, he starts throwing evil space lightning at him.
And Luke reacts how?
By writhing on the ground.
Seems reasonable enough. So Luke dies, and then I guess the rebels are able to blow up the Death Star, so it really didn't matter that he died because he was going to die anyways?
No. So while Palpatine is electrocuting Luke with evil space lightning, Vader realizes that, hey, this is his frickin' son. So he throws the Emperor down a hole.
He really hasn't cared up until this point, so why all of a sudden is there the change of heart?
To progress the plot.
Fair enough.
And so Vader is now mortally wounded, and...
I would assume Luke is too.
No, Luke's fine. So they try to make their escape. They get to a shuttle in one of the hangars, and Vader too weak to go on. He tells Luke to remove his helmet so he can actually look on him with his own eyes. And then he dies.
Again, anticlimactic. Ceremonious.
So Luke takes the shuttle and returns to Endor. As Luke's flying off, Lando Calrissian flies the Millennium Falcon into the second Death Star and blows up the core.
You said it was under construction, right?
Yeah.
Did we think about the moral implications of that?
Glossing over that, back to Luke. He ends up burning the body of Darth Vader before anyone really knows about it, to be honest. And he returns to the Ewok village with Leia, Han, and Chewie and the droids, where they're celebrating the destruction of the Empire.
Now the galaxy is at peace, and the new republic will be built and will last forever.
Well,
No problems.
until Grand Admiral Thrawn shows up.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching that video. If you stuck all the way to the end, we appreciate it. We appreciate it. If you like this content, go check out more. If you like the way that we did this video, please let us know and we'll continue this. Subscribe to the channel and
Check out our podcast episode on Return of the Jedi on Monday.
y'all later.